What's good, YouTube? Hope you're having a really good day today wherever you reside on this planet. So my name is Ben, and in today's video I'm really excited to be bringing you some breaking news within the KDP space. I'm going to be talking about everything KDP hardcovers today, and I've called it a complete tutorial because I'm going to be covering pretty much every topic you need to know about hardcovers for low content publishers. So this includes what exactly hardcovers are, the kind of people that will buy hardcovers, what books you can make hardcovers for, how to create a hardcover manuscript and cover, even how to advertise your hardcover and the points you need to be aware of between paperback and hardcover. And finally, we're going to be answering if it's worth it to turn all your paperbacks into hardcover as well. So if you do like this video, guys, I'd strongly encourage you to smash the like button. It helps out more than you think. And of course, if you like videos like this on self-publishing, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I bring out videos like this one. So without further ado, let's get started on this video. So guys, if you're new to low content publishing, or you're just getting started and you're not making as many sales as you want, I'd highly encourage you to check out my free 2-hour tutorial here on YouTube. This is everything you're going to need to get started making your first sales on low content publishing. So I've linked it in the top right hand side if you want to go and check it out. So for the contents of this video, I've got them listed. Number 1 is what are hardcover books and what books you create them for. Number 2 is what customers buy hardcover. 3 is how to create a hardcover. 4 is are they worth it, and 5 is advertising hardcovers. So I'm going to leave timestamps in the description below so you guys can just jump to whichever section is going to be most helpful for you. But we're just going to start with number 1 here and here. So hardcover books in essence differ from paperback books in the way the covers are created. So for a paperback book, the cover is just a thick piece of paper that covers the book. But with a hardcover, this thick piece of paper is replaced by a piece of cardboard that covers the book. So this piece of cardboard is a few millimeters thick and therefore offers the book a lot more durability than its paperback counterpart. Normally the spines of hardcovers are thicker as well because of the way they are designed, and the covers also extend past the edge of the pages, therefore offering the pages inside more protection from wear as opposed to paperbacks. So those are kind of the major differences between the two. Hardcovers always cost more than paperbacks just because they cost more to manufacture, and therefore they can be seen as more premium items. And some people just prefer hardcover because of the durability they offer as opposed to paperbacks. So what books can you create these hardcovers for? So on the face of it, it doesn't look like there's any restrictions as to what kind of books you can't be publishing in hardcover. So just to show you a comparison with ebook, a lot of low content books were cut out because, you know, they couldn't be used for the functionality they were made for. So for example, notebooks couldn't be made as ebooks because people wouldn't be able to use them as notebooks from their e-reader. So that's why you can't be publishing notebooks on ebook. But with hardcover, you can go straight onto Amazon, and you can see that already a lot of people have been successfully publishing notebooks in hardcover. So what you can do is type in notebook at the top, and you can actually just filter it down the side here. So you can go format hardcover, last 30 days as well, just to show you some independently published notebooks from the last 30 days. And you can already see that there is a plethora of notebooks already out here on the market in hardcover. Some of them doing fairly decently as well. So 168,000 for this graph paper composition notebook up here, selling at $13.87. So double the price of its paperback. And if you keep scrolling down, engineering notebook as hardcover. And if you look at Amazon's guidelines for publishing hardcover books, they don't explicitly mention any type of books that you're not allowed to publish through hardcovers. So as long as you follow the general terms and conditions, you're going to be fine whether you publish it in a paperback or in a hardcover. So now this brings me on to the next section that we're going to be talking about, is which people actually buy these hardcovers. So the kind of customers that buy hardcover are generally ones that want the durability that comes with hardcover that paperback doesn't offer, and they might want the durability because they plan to use it in the long term. They plan to take it with them on their travels, or they might give it to their children who might, you know, accidentally end up tearing it if it was a paperback, for example. So the kind of books that might fall into customers buying these hardcovers are journals, for example. So think of a travel journal, someone going on holiday and, you know, keeping a nice little diary as they're going traveling. They're going to be carrying it in their bags, they're going to be bringing it in their luggage on their airports and stuff like that. And if it was a simple paperback, by the end of their journey, the book will probably be ruined. So they might, in this instance, splash out the extra cash and buy a hardcover. Another example is a diary. Again, in a similar circumstance, they're going to be bringing it everywhere. Maybe they take it with them to work. They just keep a log of what they're doing every single day. They bring it back on the daily commute and repeat. And over time, a paperback will get ruined. So they might want, you know, a hardback for a diary. Again, logbooks, like say like a vehicle mileage logbook where someone has to record the mileage for accounting purposes. They might want a hardback again because it's going to be in the glove compartment of the car the whole time they're going to be driving around. You know, it's going to be hitting the sides of the car and it might get damaged if it's a paperback. So these are circumstances where the durability of the book might be worth justifying the extra costs for the customer to pay for it. So of course, this is not a complete list. There's going to be many more books where customers will buy the hardcover based on its durability. You're always going to want to check them on Amazon to see if it's a good niche as well, just like you check for your paperback books. So of course on my YouTube I have a good video based on niche research. Go ahead and watch that if you want to do the same for hardcovers. But essentially we're going to be looking at the travel journal just to give you an example. So we've typed in travel journal, we've filtered by hardcover in the last 30 days, and you can see these ones have come out on top. Now, on the face of it, actually looks really good. 232,000 for this one here, and it was published 5 days ago, and this one 147,000, and it was published 5 days ago as well. So it looks like things are heating up for travel journals in hardcovers, but you've got to remember that actually most of the sales are going to be driven from this paperback here. So the paperback version is cheaper, and you can see that the rank for the paperback version is actually 14,000. So this book is actually going to be advertised on Amazon and everything. People are going to be clicking on the paperback version and they're going to see this, and you know, a small percentage of people will want to buy the hardcover based on the facts I just said about it being more durable when they're taking on their journeys and stuff like that. So they might just click on hardcover just like that and then buy now here. But that's only going to be a small percentage rather than a larger percentage. So you should kind of treat it that way. It should be an addition to paperback rather than a hardcover in its own right, even for books where durability might be important, because as you see here, this is just evidence that, you know, paperback is still trumping hardcover by a mile. It's the same with ebook for low content publishers as well. I mean, I do get some ebook sales, but by far the majority of my sales are paperback. Should be treated as an additional source of income and not there to replace paperback. So now I've clarified that, I think it's a good time to go on to the third step of this guide, which is how to create a hardcover. So now in this section, I'm going to be talking about how to create a hardcover. And we're going to be breaking it down into the manuscript, which is the interior of the book, and then the cover itself. So to begin creating a hardcover, you can go straight onto your Amazon bookshelf, and you can see the option to do so right there at the start. So this bit here, create a new title, and you can see that magic button with the beta sign has lit up, and you can just go ahead and click on it, and you'll be taken to basically an identical setup page to a paperback book. So everything there is going to be the same as if you were publishing a paperback book. Now, instead of doing it this way, and in line with what I said before, that hardcover should be an addition to a paperback rather than a hardcover alone, especially for low content books, we're just going to go ahead and go to our book, and we're just going to press this button instead, which is create a hardcover. So if we do it this way instead, you'll notice that it's actually going to be a lot easier for you because it pre-fills all the details for you. So if you've already got a paperback version, the hardcover can be identical in its details to the paperback version. So the same title, subtitle, and things like that. Now, as we've already pre-filled this out, what I'm going to do is go forward to the hardcover content. So we're going to go ahead and generate free ISBN. So just like paperbacks, you get a free ISBN to go with your hardcover. It's going to be a different ISBN to your paperback, so do bear that in mind. But then just press that button there. Now, when it comes to selecting your trim size, you're just going to want to select the trim size that you published your paperback in. Now, you'll notice with hardcover, there's a lot less trim sizes available than paperback. So if you can't find an exact match, so for example, if my paperback was 8.5 by 11 inch, then I'll just want to select the closest one here, which is 8.25 by 11 inches. And of course, you just want to make sure that all the details in this listing reflects, the changes that you've made. So for example, if I said that my paperback was 8.5 by 11 inches in the description, then I want to change that to 8.25 by 11, just as to accurately reflect, what customers can expect with your hardcover book, and so as to not to mislead. So I can leave mine at 6 by 9 inches because that's the size of the paperback as well. So the hardcover is going to be the same. We're publishing in bleed, matte cover finish, and then for the manuscript, we're going to have to upload the hardcover manuscript. Now, because my interior trim size was exactly the same as it was for paperback, then we can actually just use the same manuscript that I had for paperback. It makes no difference. So for example, we can go onto Tangent Templates. We can get the template for 100 line pages, and we can use it for the paperback and the hardcover without having to modify it at all. So the manuscript can be exactly the same. Now, that's not going to be the same in all cases. If you did have to change this size here, trim size, so that the paperback trim size is different to the hardback trim size, then you will need to redo your manuscript based on the new trim sizes. So for example, again, if I had an 8.5 by 11 paperback, and then I had to adjust it to 8.25 by 11 here, then I will need to upload a new manuscript with different dimensions to what I had for the paperback. So it's a simple resizing job there on Canva if you do need to do this. But because we've got the same trim size, we're going to be absolutely fine. We can just use the same one. Now, another instance that this may be is that your manuscript has less than 75 pages. So for a hardcover, you need at least 75 pages. So if your book has 40 pages in paperback, then you need to make up to at least 75 pages for hardcover. And then this will obviously entail different dimensions for your interior that you need to take into account as well. So those are some certain circumstances where you will have to upload a different manuscript. But if the interior size is the same for hardcover and paperback, you can just go ahead and use the same manuscript for that paperback as you would do for this hardcover. So you're just going to want to upload it there. Now, of course, you can download the KDP templates using this button here as well. I'm going to leave these all linked down in the description below, so you can go ahead and use them straight away if you want to. But yeah, moving on to the book cover as well. This is going to be the hardest bit of uploading your hardcover because you will have to change the dimensions no matter what. So Tangent Templates don't have this feature yet, so we're going to have to use this KDP one here, which is actually not even that bad. We're just going to click on here. Again, this is going to be linked in the description below, so you can go ahead and look at it straight away if you want to. And you're just going to fill out the information of your book. So I'm just going to power through this, and we're just going to download a template for us to use for the purposes of this video. So let me just fill these all out. We'll stick that in inches, 6 by 9, and that is going to be 100 pages. And we're going to click on calculate dimensions. We're going to keep this page active as well because it's got all these measurements here that are going to be useful for us. And we're just going to download that template until we have that download into our folder. So it's zipped, so we're just going to press it to open it, expand it, and we're going to take the PNG and we're going to now head over to Canva. So this right here was the original paperback cover that I used for my notebook at the start of this year. It's in my 2-hour tutorial video, and this is the perfect dimensions for that paperback notebook. So what I'm going to be showing you is how to transform this into a hardcover cover that we can use to put on our hardcover book on Amazon. Now this is the paperback one. The dimensions here are 12.49 by 9.25, but if we go back onto the KDP cover calculator, we can see what we actually need is 13.989 by 10.417. So if you do have Canva Pro, this is going to be fairly simple for you, because what you can do is just resize right there and then. So we're just going to literally change it to 13.989 by 10.417, I believe that was. Yep, 10.417, and then just press resize, and just like that, it's resized it to the dimensions that we want. Now, if you don't have Canva Pro, then do not worry, we can actually do it another way. So if I go back to the original dimensions, 12.49 by 9.25, what you're going to want to do is just copy and paste every single element in your Canva, and then just open up another Canva window here. And then you're just going to want to create a design up here, custom size with the dimensions 13.989 by, oops, not in pix, in inch, 10, what was it, 13.989 by 10.417. Create a new design there, and then just paste everything in. And although it's going to be a little bit more hassle, you can just stretch it out until everything was as it was in that previous slide there. Obviously, you're going to want to change that background color as well. Let's have a look at the background color. There it is. And there you have it. So that's how you would do it if you don't have Canva Pro. You just got the free version of Canva. Now we've got this one here, and we've got the correct dimensions. We're going to just move it so that it fits all in that template. So again, just copy that template, paste it in here, and we're just going to lower the transparency so we can see what we're working with. And we're just going to stretch that out across the whole document. Now you can see that the giraffe is slightly skewed to the right. So what we're going to want to do is center that logo there. Just subtle changes because it's already fairly center. I think that is pretty much ideal. Actually, you can see that everything fits in nicely. The two giraffes' feet may be below the bottom there, so maybe just move these giraffe up a little bit so that the whole giraffe is on that cover. And will you have a look at that? That is absolutely amazing. The two giraffes there are fully on the front cover, not in any of that red zone. The Giraffe Lover's Notebook bit is right bang in the center, I believe, and all the elements are generally there on the cover. So this is an example of a cover that's ready to go onto KDP, just like this. So that's all you need to do to change it. If you do have Canva Pro, like I say, you can just quickly resize, use this template to, you know, align everything to the center. But if you don't have Canva Pro, no dangers. You just create a new Canva, copy and paste all the elements from your paperback cover onto the new hardcover, and just arrange it so that it's all centered. That's the whole process for you. So that is pretty much it in a nutshell. You can go ahead, download that as PDF print like we always do, and upload it straight onto KDP. Just as simple as that. So now once you've completed that cover, you can literally just upload it on here by just pressing this button. And once your manuscript and cover are uploaded onto Amazon, launch the previewer, get that accepted, and then you can go through to pricing. Now, the printing costs for hardcover are substantially more than the paperback equivalent. So if we go onto Amazon's own printing cost and royalty calculator, they do have a new one here as well. So you can actually go onto hardcover, and then you can put in all the details of your hardcover and see how much royalty and how much you need to price your book to make the amount of royalty that you want. So we have a black and white interior with white paper. We have 100 pages, and you can choose your marketplace, but we're going to be doing Amazon.com for now. And let's say the list price was $10 for our hardcover. Well, we wouldn't make any royalty whatsoever because we need the minimum list price to be $11.33 for our very simple notebook. So if you remember, it was something like $2.83 list price for this 100-page notebook in paperback. So there is a huge difference. Now, if I price it at $14.99, for example, over double the price that I'd be expecting to list it as a paperback, then I'll make $2.19 royalty at a list price of $14.99. So, which is actually quite crazy. So, there is a massive difference in pricing between paperback and hardcover, and therefore the books that will probably do best are the ones where they do definitely need to be durable, like what I mentioned before. And of course, if you look at this margin here, for example, list price $14.99, estimated $2.19, you can see the margin is actually not that much. If you run the numbers on that, that's like a 15% margin, which I will talk about a little bit later on. So this brings me also very nicely onto my next question as well. Is it going to be worth it, you publishing hardcover books alongside your paperback? Now, literally you saw how easy it was, you know, to run a hardcover alongside your paperback. If you've got all the details for your paperback already, if you're doing your business as normal, finding niches, and you found a good niche and you published it as a paperback, then I believe that publishing in a hardcover as well can only be beneficial for you. It doesn't take that much time, and although it doesn't look like it's going to pick up as much sales as your paperback would, it's definitely still a nice addition to your arsenal of books that you have out on Amazon. It's just extra passive income that it's going to be giving you. Now, it kind of really depends on the bookshelf that you have. If you have like 100 coloring books, for example, I would probably turn them all into hardcover. But if you're looking at 3,000 books, for example, and 2,000 of them are notebooks, then it might not be worth your time, because that's going to take you a long while to get all those notebooks into hardcover. And with notebooks, I don't think the appeal is going to be there for people to pay $14 for one 6x9 notebook. Maybe for other types of notebooks, but for the smaller ones, probably not. So I would leave it if I just had tons of notebooks. But if I had slightly higher content, so I'm looking at activity books, coloring books, log books, travel diaries, journals, gratitude journals, for example, I would 100% put those in hardcover, because as you saw with that travel journal that I showed you before, the rank for its paperback was 14,000, but for its hardcover, for the same hardcover, it was like 280,000 BSR. So, you know, there's 20 times more paperback sales than hardcover sales. But like I say, it's going to give you extra passive income, and you cannot complain at extra passive income. So I would start off personally with my most best-selling books, and then create hardcovers for those, and then I would go down the list until I got to notebooks that really didn't sell all that much, and probably stop there. So everything that I have that isn't a notebook, I would probably create a hardcover for, just based on how simple it is and potential there, especially coming into Q4. So when it comes to pricing, for the majority of my hardcover books, my strategy is going to be something like maintaining a certain amount of royalty per hardcover sale. So as you've already seen from the marketplace, you're just going to be expecting more paperback sales and hardcover sales for whatever book you have. So if I am going to get a hardcover sale, I do want a minimum amount of royalty to come in. So for my very low content books like notebooks, journals, and things like that, I want to assure at least a $2 royalty every time the hardcover sells, and I want at least a $3 royalty for a coloring book, activity book, puzzle book, and so on. So I'm going to be trying to maintain that rather than trying to beat the competition or try and fit in the industry standard. So this means my price for most of my books will be around $15.99 to $17.99 region for my hardcovers, as most of my books have between 60 to 120 page counts. So if I say go for a coloring book that has 80 pages, you can see that at $17.99 I'll be expecting $3.99 royalty, and if I have an 120 page activity book, let's just have a look, I'll get $3.85. So that's where my price point is going to be, $15.99 to $17.99. I believe that's what's going to work for my niche. Maybe for your niches it's different. So my top tip for pricing is always to mess around with it. Try and ensure like a minimum amount of royalty, $2 to $3 for your books, but otherwise just change the price to see what works with your customers. I mean, if you raise the prices and it doesn't affect the BSI, you're still making the same amount of sales with the higher prices you will with the lower one. And that's how you learn more about your customers in your niche and how much they're willing to pay for it. So that's actually going to be my top tip for this one. Ensure a minimum amount of royalty of $2 to $3 and then just experiment with the price thereafter. For me, I'm going to hover around the $15 to $17.99 mark, but that's not final. I might raise it even higher just to see what works best for me. $19.99 seems like a very natural number to have, because just with the psychology of it being just under 20 and everything like that, it looks pretty cool, and that would actually give me $5 royalties. So I might give that a try for some of my slightly higher content books, like my quiz books, for example. So that's pretty much the pricing in a nutshell. We're going to go on to the final point now, which is going to be advertising these hardcovers. So when it comes to advertising your hardcover books, the keywords that this ad is going to target is going to be very similar to the paperback version. So for example, if I've just made a hardcover version of a dog coloring book, for example, and I have a paperback version too, and I run ads for both of them, you'll notice that they're going to be targeting a lot of the same keywords. So for example, dog coloring book for adults, they're both going to be targeting those same keywords. Now for hardcover, therefore, it's not going to make so much sense for you to run a hardcover ad, because if we go back to the profit margins of the book, say if I've settled for $3 royalty, I've priced my book at $15.99. Okay, let's call it $16.99 just so we've got a decent amount of estimated royalty. You can see here that that profit margin there is looking at just less than 20% if I do it in the top of my head. Probably slightly less or slightly more than that, but around the 20% profit margin mark. Now, for my same coloring book, that will be $7.99. I'd be making $2.64 royalty from that. So my profit margin is actually closer to 30% for my paperback. So what in essence that means is that if I was going to run a hardcover ad, for that to be profitable, I would need an ACoS of under 20%. But for my paperback ad to be profitable, I need an ACoS of under 30%. So this extra ACoS means it's less difficult to be profitable with a paperback than a hardcover. Now, the biggest exception to that, of course, is if you find a really good keyword that has something to do with the hardcover. So, for example, if there's high demand for the keywords hardcover coloring book, then it may make sense to run a hardcover ads targeting this hardcover keyword, because obviously your paperback won't make the cut because the customer is looking for a hardcover. So in that circumstance, a hardcover ad would make sense. But in most circumstances, a paperback ads will be more profitable for you than hardcover ads. However, you should always test the waters, guys. That's always been my top tip throughout my videos. As a publisher, should always be testing the waters to see how your niche and customers react to, advances in publishing. So, if I was going to run a hardcover ad, which I probably will do just to test the waters, I would run it in the same way that I would with my paperback books, maybe slightly lower bids, maybe in the 10 to 20 cent region for the bids that I'm going to run on my hardcover books. Because at the end of the day, Hardcovers are still new. They're less than a week old for myself. So you never really know how the market is going to react to the new hardcover books. Maybe one of your ads really does take off, or one of your books really does take off its hardcover version. So at the end of the day, you always want to be testing the waters, seeing how the market reacts. If the ads are not profitable, then just shut them off. But maybe one of your hardcover books takes off, you get some really profitable ads on it. So yeah, test the waters. Just bear in mind the points that I have made, and just bear in mind as well that they are my opinion, and things might change in the future as hardcovers become more established. But all in all, it's a very exciting time to be on KDP. There's so many new things going on. There's that A+ content that came on as well. These hardcovers. Kindle Vella is in the USA and it's coming to the rest of the world at some point. So this space is always growing. It's always really exciting. And the best thing you can do is always to test the waters. So I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. If you do, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. As I say, everything in this video is going to be linked. So the manuscript dimensions, the cover dimensions, and the print cost calculator will all be in the description for you to use. Have a really good day. See you all in the next video. Take care.